Welcome to Liberal Talk Man Show. I am Liberal Talk Man, and I am doing a rumor update somewhat, or just like a mid-January transfer show. I'm going to be doing my KDB, and if he makes the skulls and everything else show later on this week. If not, possibly next week. I'll have to fit it in there. I just got some news though. I was looking at some news, looking at some rumors that are coming through now, and it kind of piqued my interest a little bit more than just something that a show that I could do anytime. So I wanted to do this show because it is mid-January and it is related to what we possibly could see Liverpool do in the sense of this January window. I know a lot of people are not looking for us to do any movement when it comes to this window. But there are some possibilities out there. There are some, obviously some likely or, potentially likely rumors out there of names and people that could be generally true or could possibly work out. What up, Drunk Vigo? What up? What up? Keep it level. What up? Keep it level. And Lucky in the house. What's up, guys? And you know what? And there are some other names out there that you know of or heard of or think that are really, really likely. Please do include them into chat. I'm gonna do somewhat of do as best I can a live, interaction with not only you but with the charts that I have up here. I know sometimes if I have too many tabs open, it ends up like chopping up and slowing down the broadcast. So I don't want to do too many tabs open. But I do have some things that are fun to do here, and let's see. So I know these things are true in that right now the window is really only seeing Spurs make some real movement when it comes to bringing in any notable names, I guess you could say, with the addition of Timo Werner and Radu Dragusin. I know though that there are a lot of teams that are in the running of Michael Olise. I like Olise. I think Olise is a very good player. Just happened to be stuck on a bad team, somewhat bad team. It's very interesting. I know there's also reports out there that the Gooners are looking to go for Rayan Ait-Nouri as a striker, as a Wolves defender, Wolves defender, and they're looking at possibly going for Joshua Zirkzee, and maybe even Muriel or Jimenez. Big up Robbie in the house. What up, lad? Good to see you, Robbie. Long time no see, brother. You gotta come through more often. I appreciate that that you're here though now, all the same. And there's even rumors and talks about Real Madrid making a basically a transfer or letting a player go. Well, let's say you can say letting a player go. And that player would be, hey Brian, what up, brother? What up, brother? Brian was part of the marathon yesterday. Big up to Brian. We did a 6 hour. I think it was like a 6 hour. Ended up being a 6 hour show. Today's not gonna be a 6 hour show at all. I'm only gonna be able to probably do like one half, like a 45-minute type thing or an hour type thing today. But yeah, big up to Brian. But there's rumors that Real Madrid might be looking to let go of, for the right price, of course, Vinicius Jr. And that sparked some interest in what I was thinking. I'm like, Vinicius Jr. on the market, possibly? Now, I mean, the likelihood of it happening is very low. I get that. Obviously, Vinicius Jr. has to look and see himself as wanting to leave or go someplace else. That stream was long made. I ended up falling asleep last night. I got you. I know it was. It was definitely. It was good though. Big up Cedric Lopez in the house. Big up. Good to see you, brother. But it's cool. I enjoyed myself yesterday. Enjoyed the company, and I enjoyed the conversation. And I especially thought that the topics and things that we spoke on were all relevant topics and everything else. So it was good. It was fun times. I'm looking at some things again that are very interesting as well. So one name that's been added to that market list, I guess you could say, has been Karim Benzema. I know that Arsenal, Manchester United, possibly even Chelsea are looking at possibly getting involved or getting him as a striker solution for themselves. I know that Chelsea has been linked with Brighton's young man, Evan Ferguson. Obviously, Osimhen, Gyökeres was also one of the names I saw on there. Whereas for Liverpool, we've been actually still with the somewhat similar, same, still with the same somewhat names that are somewhat unlikely, but all the same fun to talk about. Kylian Mbappe, I know, let's just drop that name right now. I know that, there's not many Liverpool streams that don't end up having Kylian Mbappe's name be mentioned, but he's one of the names that's on there. And Jordan Henderson is likely to be looking at going to Holland and joining the perennial powerhouse of Ajax. And because they're set to terminate his contract and he's looking to move to Ajax. It should be interesting. And now also, big up 12 man. Big up Chris Angel. He says 12th man on the roll this week. 12th man on a roll this week. What you on? You must have met a Colombian kid. I wish. I'll take 1, 2, 3. Colombianas are my definitely part of my heart. I love Colombia for sure. Big up Ozan Kabak. Yes, he played center back. Big up, brother. Yes. Big up, brother. Let me say that. Let's see. So where I was leaving off was this: is that so Newcastle as well is having issues and problems with FFP and such. So they're now in the place and point where you got to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to make things happen. Now, it's been suggested that, and we spoke on this yesterday. Brian and JK, actually, Jay Kismet was on the show, and Nilante was on the show as well. And we were talking and kind of just chopping up about basically what True Jordy was saying and how he was so aggravated and angry about the fact that his club couldn't get away with the things that City were getting away with, basically. So yeah, I'm gonna and definitely put in your comments too to a lot of things I'm saying, because I'm gonna star your comments and make sure that I engage in those comments as well. So Newcastle is in a position where they have to make some moves possibly. They don't need to have a fire sale as the media is kind of pushing it to be. But if they want to make some moves, they want to make some acquisitions, they want to do some things with their team, they're going to have to kind of reshuffle the deck, I guess you'd say, a little bit to kind of make room for some acquisitions that they're looking to do. I know a lot of what people have said is that, or at least what my interpretation is that they would have to probably do something like what we did with Coutinho, in that they're going to have to move a player that they can get a lot of money for, obviously, and then take that lump sum of money and then position it into 1, 2, if not 3 acquisitions that really move the needle for their team. And that's also with getting involved in some real targets that might not necessarily be like, Vinicius Jr., like I spoke of earlier, or something like that, but really good targets on the cusp of having breakout years. That's what I believe Newcastle would need to do. But yet, if that's the case, then they're most likely going to have to move on from Alexander Isaac, or they're going to have to move on from Bruno Guimaraes, or they're going to have to move on from Sven Botman. And it got me thinking of, that'd be interesting, would we want to revisit the Botman Chronicles? Would we want to revisit the Bruno Chronicles that we were, so well and so heavily linked with? It's a really good question, So I really wanted to see you guys, your opinions on this stuff. Also, I have some other things too up on my tabs here to go through as well, because I know that we also, as far as for our interests, there's a bunch of different names on the Liverpool radar right now, and some are just prospects, some are actual like interest, really warranted interest to keep your eye on. And also, we've got some returnees coming back from loans. One notable name is Billy the Kid is going to be returning off of loan from France, not because he's had such a great spell, but because he's more so because we could just use a player. I don't know why Billy the Kid's coming back, to be honest with you. I'm not saying that Billy the Kid isn't worth it, but I'm just saying that it's interesting. It's definitely interesting what we could be doing with if it could be interesting what we're doing with the player. I don't necessarily know. There's no necessary pathway for him to start. We do have a need for center back coverage for certain. I think that's warranted. It's going to help once we start getting our left backs back. I guess, yeah, you can't say Billy the Kid. You got to say Billy the young man. That's what Chris Angel is basically saying. But yeah, it's kind of interesting where and what we're going to be doing. I know that a lot of different, there's like Ramsey, for instance, is reportedly being recalled off of loan. What's disappointing about that is that the coach, Lowe, the coach for the team that he was on loan with, declared that the youngster or Ramsey is not quote unquote ready, having worked his way back to full fitness, and a fresh loan move elsewhere appears most likely for Ramsey to get him playing minutes. I'm under the pretense of like almost to the point where I'm saying, do I want to let Ramsey go out on another loan? I know people are divided on this theory theory or philosophy under, do you allow for players to go out on loan and play for, mid-level or other teams in Europe? Or do you keep them in-house and allow for him to develop under your watchful eye, under the eyes of, obviously like, Klopp's not watching the youth academy, like coaching themselves, but, at least within the system and learning the system, being at the facilities, that kind of concept. Do you bring him back for those reasons so that you can possibly help develop his skills in-house? These are all questions I'd like to know if you guys, what's your opinions on them, and then what aren't your opinions on them. But also, I just think that a lot of what we're dealing with and seeing when it comes to a lot of these circumstances with Liverpool are very interesting, because a lot of cases are players that are either superstars or up and coming prospects, up and coming youthful selections. And those are reasons why I'm saying what I'm saying, because, with the exception of maybe like Sepp Vandenberg or Tyler Morton or even Owen Beck, those players have had notable runs on their loans. They're players that you've heard are doing well with their teams. You've heard of their development really, really blossoming into well-defined players. But the other ones, like I said, like Billy the young man, I guess we call him now, right? Maybe not so much. Big up Realism, Jared. Good to see you, brother. But yeah, that's at least from my perspective. There's Sepp, Tyler, Owen playing at Mainz, Hull, and Dundee have all really performed well. They're all players that even Owen Beck has been recalled too. It's one of those things where you're like very, very intrigued to see the development once you're able to see them in the Premier League. That's the next step for a lot of these players in their development. Big up, big up, big up. One of our Reds queens is in the house, people. Recognize. Marion Southworth's in the house. Blessings, blessings, blessings. And what I was going to say too is big up, Realism Jared. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Realism Jared. What was your question? What was your question, Chris Angel? I didn't. I'm not dodging it. I'm not dodging it. I'm looking. Wait, tell me what was your question? If you want to, okay, I see. Okay, I got you, brother. Okay, so Chris Angel is asking, 12th man, this is a question for you. This will make or break our friendship. Would you take Hendo back? That is an undoubtedly no. I am not taking Henderson back at this stage of his career and of his run. Look, you know what? We've moved on. We've got replacements that are more than adequate, more than necessary components of this team to be able to do what we need to do. His role in the midfield isn't something that is direly crucial for us to replace. And also with Hendo, the only way I would take Henderson back is the same way I would take back Milner, or the same way I would take back Steven Gerrard, and that is in a coaching role. That's the only real those are the only real ways I would take Henderson or Milner or Steven Gerrard back. I think that if you were to if those players wanted to come back to Liverpool, I think it's it's via coaching roles, and that's something I think is acceptable for sure. But yeah, so I would definitely like to see and hear what you guys think about some of these things I've spoken on. Obviously, I spoke on Jordan Henderson moving to Ajax. I've spoken on the fact that Billy the young man / Billy the kid will be making a return. I have said about how Ramsey is returning as well. Most likely will be put on another loan spell somewhere else. You know what? I mean, like, do you guys think we need to find another number 2 keeper? And I'm not saying that I want to get rid of Kelleher. That's not what I'm saying. But there has been interest in Kelleher and his services by apparently 3 other Premier League clubs and by Celtic. So that's just now something that's been reported. It's very interesting. I know that Kelleher is looking to get more playing time. I know that Kelleher isn't necessarily, rocking the boat as a backup keeper for us, as in rocking the boat to try to get out, but he is someone that believes in his talent and wants to see starting time. And there's no way, other than injury, will he be seeing, or cup play or something like that, will you be seeing Kelleher play? So I see honesty. He's talking about Cat Williams. But that's just something where is more likely is that it's going to be interesting to see what we do with that. There's also one player. There's a player. So Chris Angel's in the house. Big up to him again. Part of Bayesian Reds TV. There's a certain player that I have been pretty interested, maybe because of my love for Colombia. But there's an interesting player here that I wanted to bring up. So let me make this a little bit bigger here because I can see that it might be a little bit harder for you guys to read. Oh wait, whoops. No, now it's too big. Now it's too big there. That's what she said. But let's see. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this player right here has been rumored to be a possibility for us as an actual addition. He's a 20-year-old from Colombia. Yeah, Brian. We can speak on that too. This is Brian speaking on Kelleher. He says, I'm surprised Kelleher didn't leave this summer. He's ready to be a number one keeper somewhere. I agree with that too. I think he's I don't know if he's necessarily ready to be a number one, to be honest with you. He probably could, he definitely could be a number one somewhere. You're right. But I just mean, like, I think that he has higher, you know what I mean? Like, he has, like, there's more people out there that are kind of hyping up Kelleher as if he's a good number two. Is he a number one could he be a number one option on every team in the Prem? No. Could he be an option to 3/4 of the Prem? Maybe. That's a slight shout. I say maybe he could start probably in half of the league. Half of the league, I think he could probably start in almost half of the league's teams. I think he could probably be a starter. Is that too much of a stretch? Or am I if you think I'm understating it, tell me. I think that he could half the league. I think he could be a starter. I don't know if it's borderline 3/4 of the league. Borderline. I don't think. I mean, because you got to think that would mean that he's out. Can he start in the top 5 teams? I don't know if he can start in the top 5 teams. Can he start in? Or he's definitely not starting in the top 5 teams. But can he start at the teams from 6 down? I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know if he would start in some of the teams that are, you know, in those placements, like in the league. But another question. Love to hear the answer from you guys. Let's see. Yes, Rasta Crab. Big up Rasta Crab from Bajan Reds TV each and every time. Big up, brother. My Ross brother for sure. Yeah, Brian says a bottom half club. Yeah, I'd say like 50%, like, you know, like the 50% and down, you know, he could start in pretty much any of those teams. I think that's a safe bet. That's definitely a safe bet. Let's see. Rosen Jared has an interesting shout. He's saying we have to get a homegrown keeper, and I'm gonna get to this defensive player in a second. I want to deal with some of your chats. He said we have to get a homegrown keeper. We have one homegrown spot available. That's a good shout. We do need to figure out something with this homegrown position that needs to get available. It should be interesting. Like Honesty is saying, Celtic are one of many clubs interested in bringing in Kelleher in this summer, though it is likely the Reds would not sell the keeper for anything other than a fair transfer fee. What is a fair transfer fee for you, Honesty? that was a little tongue tie right there. What is a fair transfer fee for you, Honesty? That would be, and for the chat as well. It's pretty interesting if you really put on the number, like let's say 20 million. Is that too much? Is 30 million too much? Maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe like 25 million. If we could get 20 million pounds or 25 million pounds, would you make that Kelleher move, or would you say it's worth keeping him? Okay, all right. Chris Angel saying that this 10 or 20 million is what you would settle for, basically. 10 million is kind of low. That's interesting. I personally wouldn't go with 10 million. I'd say 15 million is like the starting would be my expected starting price offer from you. Like, as in, I'd probably put the evaluation out there that he's a 25 million pound player, and I saw myself freeze up there for a bit. A 25 million pound player, and then I'd watch someone come in with a 15 million pound bid, and then I'd say let's meet somewhere in the middle at 20 million. I'd be willing to settle for that. I don't know if that's too far out there. Let's see what you guys think. Yeah, honestly, saying 15 million at a push, 20 million. Yeah. Ozan's saying the transfer market has Kelleher rated at 15 million euros. Yeah. And I know 25 million is asking a lot. I think that because Kelleher qualifies now for a homegrown. Please do correct me in the chat if I'm wrong on that. But I think he does qualify now as a homegrown. And I also think that the sheer fact that you do want to put a little bit of a Premier League tax on I think 5 million of a Premier League tax isn't exactly outrageous. So that's why I would say 15 million, which is why I saw Brian, I saw Honesty say as well. Obviously Ozan dropped this stat right here. But yeah, I'd say I'd put there, if people were really interested, I'd say that our evaluation of the player is 25 million. Our personal evaluation should be 25 million, because obviously people are going to try to knock us down on our price. Roster Crab says 20 million. I would try him wherever. Okay. He says you gotta be on crack to spend 30 million on Kelleher. Hey, some people are desperate, brother. Cracks is cocaine's a crazy drug, as not just kidding. I'm not even gonna do the Dave Chappelle thing. Anyway, yeah, Roster Crab says 20 million is more than enough. Yeah, to be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, Kelleher has always been homegrown since he's been at the club in England since his younger academy days. Okay, that clears it up right there. Thank you. Yeah, Chris Angel says he's homegrown. So, like, I don't know. I know that we're talking about getting a homegrown player, but, you know, if we're losing a homegrown player, that doesn't necessarily answer our problem of getting a homegrown player. Yes, it is. Rick James. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Apparently, according to Rick James, it is. But yeah, let's get into what I was going to say. So, all right. I would like to hear. I know I reached out to Chris and asked him about this player, if he had some insight on this player, Kevin Mantia, because I wanted to get some. I mean, we're getting some really, really like heavy reports that this is a player that we're actually interested in. I know that it's interesting too, because I know Chris is he was updating me as to we've been apparently interested or evaluating and scouting this player for over a year or so. But like yeah. I'll answer Roster Crab's question in a second. But he's a player that, you know, obviously is young, hasn't had that much playing time in the sense of you know, real playing options in different leagues or such. You know, I know because, you know, I was trying to look up some of his he's only 20 years old, and he's you know, he's definitely had limited times. He's only played in the Colombian Primera. So like it should be somewhat of a telling time, though, whether we do go for him or not. And who I don't necessarily know what the price tag would be for this player, considering you know, making the move is going to be interesting as well, because he doesn't have much you know, time with the national team, because his passport isn't necessarily stamped with a lot of like traveling and play time. How we get that into our team is interesting. Big up to the GTV. GTV's in the house. Yeah, GTV is going to be having a show in about 45 minutes. I'm going to be joining his show and helping out as well with some commentary. maybe some pushback, from here or there on a couple subjects, I'm sure. But yes, my brother GTV from GTV Football Channel is in the house. Big up to you, brother. But yeah, what I was saying about this player is, are you interested in this player? I haven't really got an answer from Chris. I don't know if hopefully Chris is still a part of the chat. But one thing I was looking at this player for is the fact that he's so young. And this is a player that we're going to basically do somewhat similar to Seth Vandenberg, or bringing a younger player that we have. I wouldn't say no intentions, because I would like to see Seth get an opportunity, unfortunately. But yes, it is. Because let's see, he's a very unique player in itself. I know a lot of people probably have no idea who this guy even is, and this guy just came out of nowhere as in, being a prospect that we're interested in. But there are things that there's things that are really a part of this that are interesting with what this player might be looked to offer us, in that I don't know if it's necessarily some player that we're looking to incorporate into the team, or is this just a player that we're looking to bring in, develop, put the Liverpool name of interest on him to enhance his marketability. Because once we get a player in, period, once we bring a player into Liverpool, once we even start talking about a player that we're targeting, you'll notice his price will slowly creep up into some other hemispheres. Yes, I know. Abdul Rahim, good to see you, brother. Diamande is another name on the list for sure. Hopefully I put it in there. Diamande is another player that we are looking at as well. I did not put him in this list, but I couldn't. So, and this is what I mean. I went to FBref, and I was trying to make a comparison sheet for us. And Kevin has such small sample size that I wasn't even able to put him in the comparison. I wasn't able to put him into that comparison. So I know I see Rasta Crab really likes Robinson. There's been a lot of call for Robinson. I don't think that Robinson is going to be and again, this is no knock against Robinson. So Robinson, if you hear this or see this, this is not a knock against you. I think Fulham is a talented team. It's a good team, and you're a star on that team. Hey, big up to Fulham. Fulham, which is basically Fulham America. Full America, I think they call it Full America, right? Full America is what they call it over here in America, because Fulham has given so many opportunities to American players that a lot of people over here in America follow Fulham for that reason alone. I'm just going to be 100% honest. A lot of people follow Fulham just because of whether it was Clint Dempsey, whether it was obviously Robinson. I'm gonna go blank on some of the names, but there are a lot of names that have gone through Fulham. Basically, a lot of American players have gone through Fulham. That's why the nickname Full America is the nickname that you can sometimes hear. But yeah, Chris, what I was saying is, like, what's your feelings on this player? So, like, basically, Chris is saying this. He's saying Mattia. I think it's Mantea, right? Because double L means you pronounce it like a Y. So Mantea is right-footed and has tended to line up on the right side center back in a back four, although he has occasionally played as a right back. And that's something that could be very, very, useful for us. Let's just be honest. K-Mac channel. K-Mac is in the house. What's up, brother? K-Mac saying, we are not signing Mattia. Brighton are going to sign him and loan him to their feeder club. You know what? I get that. I get it. I think people, and this is just my perspective, I think people sometimes undervalue the relationships that we create by bringing in players, that especially prominent players on these national teams from the countries that we're interested in that by having a Lucho, it definitely puts Liverpool on other players' radars within Colombia. By having an Uruguay player or having a Argentinian player or having, all these senses it's just having that radar be expanded for the players that, and it basically also means that we have a player that can be utilized as a spokesperson for us, when they go on international runs or when they go back to their home country to visit the family or whatever it is, or maybe when we're playing a team, and they share that country, that country brotherhood. People talk. Let's be honest. Players do honestly talk, and sometimes will give insight as to whether it's a good move, whether it's not a good move, whether this team is bad or good, and yada yada yada. You will see that quite often. So Brian McBride, I know Ozan. I should be. Oh, Tim Ream. Yes, Tim Ream. Well, Tim Ream plays there now, right? But Brian McBride, I am somewhat sad that I did not say Brian McBride off the top of my head. That is sad for me to not notice that. Brian McBride is an absolute legend when it comes to Fulham and an absolute legend when it comes to U.S. men's national team, for sure. Let's see. There are, yes, I know. Frimpong. Abdul's saying that Frimpong is another player that we're interested in. K-Mac, that you're not alone. He wants K-Mac and Rasta Crab really high on Robinson. That's very interesting. Very interesting. I think, you know what, in the chat, or not chat, in the segment yesterday, we went over Isaac versus Nunez. For me, I like Nunez over Isaac. I do, despite the fact that I know Isaac is a more clinical finisher in front of the goal. I think Nunez provides more overall and I get it. He's a number 9. All you care about is goals. I know. I'm sure that's going to be the pushback. But for me, I side with Nunez a little bit more than Isaac. But Isaac is a talented player. I'm not disputing that at all. Let's see. Yes, I know, and that's the reason. So, and this is why I'm saying what I'm saying to K-Mac. I'll bring up K-Mac's comment in a second. But Andres Fassi, who is the club president, I believe, for the team that Matea plays for, has confirmed the inquiry. He's confirmed that Liverpool have made an inquiry for this particular player. That's why I think that despite the fact that Brighton is involved and Brighton is a hotbed for South American talent to go and develop and possibly be utilized with the system, with the system that they have in place to really, get these players on to good salaries, good contracts, and possibly even better teams. I definitely think that is the truth. But K-Mac saying Brighton just signed Barca and loaned him. Brighton just signed Barca and loaned him back to there for $8 million. This kid is another £100 million player in 2 years. So you're talking about Kevin? Kevin's £100 million player in 2 years? Wow, that's high praise. I mean, for a player that hasn't really Barco. Oh, okay, Barco. Okay. Let's see. Honesty says, question: why aren't we signing Frimpong? His release is 34 million. Kimmich will cost less than 40 million. Then those two can bolster our team immediately. My honest answer to honesty is the reason why I believe we haven't signed Kimmich is because his salary is ridiculous. I don't think that it's going to take a lot to make him I know he's going to take somewhat of a pay cut no matter where he goes, but I just don't know if at his age bracket, I don't know if Kimmich and the value of price that we're going to have to pay him in wages is worth that. And also with Frimpong, that's a different story. I think that if we make a move for that player, it most likely will be in the summer, because right now Leverkusen is really involved in a concerted effort to win the league, and I don't think they're going to let go of players in their campaign. Let's see. Any other good questions here? Because I want to definitely Paulinho. Wow, you guys are just firing them out. Douglas Luiz, yes, I agree. I agree. That's why. So let me share this tab. So I think there should be more than just, I don't know why just 2 of the players shown up, even though I asked for these players. Let me see if I can make sure. Because I did ask for that. This is the name. This is all the names that I was trying to get a comparison for, but they only showed me 2 for a second. So let me double check and make sure that all these are in, because I did put a lot of these players in. Oh, I have to put them back in, I guess. I'm gonna pull these. I'm gonna put these players back on here for you. So one name that we're also interested in is, apparently we're back into the Carmino. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, I agree with you, Brian. I don't know if especially when a team is in a title run, I don't know if you necessarily want to, and albeit it is for another, it would be for another team in a title run. I get that, but I don't know if you want to leave a team like that, especially when you've been a part of that team. You've been part of the process. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you want to necessarily leave a team like that in that case. So, and you know what? While I do this, I can bring up this one then too. Or I'll bring this one back up, sorry. I'm going to make the comparison breakdown for you again. Because let's see. And because apparently that did not show up. I thought I had it ready for you guys, and it did not show up with the names I wanted to do. Let's see. Is there any other names that I saw on here that are interesting enough for me to put them in? I don't think we're going for Paulinho. I know there's a concerted effort to try to get this player in. I just don't think that, one, he doesn't fit necessarily we already made one like out of the box style acquisition that goes against our normal player evaluation. Being we went for Endo, and I don't think that normally a player in that area, right? You know, that 28, 29, if not over 30-year-old player evaluation doesn't necessarily mean that you go for the players. You know what I mean? So like, and it's the same thing as Kimmich. You feel me? Like, as in, this is Kimmich, great player. Would I like to see him on this team? Absolutely. But is it a player that we make the move for? That is a different story. Because I just honestly think that he's got too high of. Yesterday, I was midstream with I was mid live stream with the guys with Brian and with JK. I don't know if Nalante was on there, and I think it was just the 3 of us at the time. And I was just going through the player salaries, out there. There's no way some of these players will not be Liverpool players. Like, for us, I get it. For us, a lot of us think, oh, wow, we love Liverpool. I get it. I love Liverpool as much, if not more or less than you do, obviously. But some of these players are not giving up the salaries they're making. Brian and I were chatting, and we were chatting about how, Frankie de Jong, I'd love to see Frankie de Jong in all red, but he's not giving up 700,000 euros a freaking week to come to go to Liverpool. I don't care what you say. Not leaving Barcelona and the lifestyle and all that to go to Liverpool. I would personally, because it'd be a dream move and be my dream club. But yeah, 700,000, probably not happening. Let's see. So I have these players in here. And there was one other player I saw in the list here. I don't know. I'll star this one for you. Honesty, I don't know about. I'm saying something about the investment that they're doing in this. What are you guys talking about? I see there's some heated debate going on in the chat here. He's capping up for the national team and his team playing in. You're saying, is he able to get a visa for here? Is what you guys are talking about when it comes to Kevin Mattia. I mean, if Brighton and Liverpool are both involved or invested in looking at him, I mean, most likely he has some pathway towards being here, you know. But all right, so let me see. There's let me see. Is there one? I have one open player evaluation spot open, and I'm trying to see if there's anyone's name on here that was worthy of putting him in there at the chat. I don't see one. All right, so let's just get the results for this. All right, so what I did was I put together a list of some of the names or some of the people, some of the guys I think are again, I don't know why, but it's just now it just showed me 3 players. It hasn't shown me all 6. It's making me angry. But so let me make sure. Darn it, it didn't do it again. It showed just the 3. I'll just show these 3 for right now. So this is the 3. These are 3 players that we're looking at possibly. And let me make sure too. I'm going to make sure that you can see this. And okay, so this is some of the players. So I know we've been looking at the Dane Morten Fredrup, and I know I threw in there Delight. I know there's not really that big of a possibility of us going for Delight. I just like Delight a lot. I like that he's obviously I love Dutch players. Pause. I really, really rate Dutch players a lot, especially since our team and our system and everything about it has been basically, it's almost like Germany. It's almost like Germany and Denmark. Excuse me, Germany and Holland had a baby, you know, and that's had a football baby, and that's what Liverpool has become. Is like it's got hints of German rock, you know, the heavy metal German aspects to it, but it also has a certain air of Dutch influence when it comes to the total football concepts of players that we've been picking up lately. So a lot of what you see here is like Fredrup, Delight, and Hincape. I put in this little mock-up. It's kind of interesting because I don't know if out of all these 3, I think that Hincape is a possibility. I think that Fredrup is a possibility, and then Delight is in order is the likelihood of those possibilities. If you had to make a choice, like, you know, I would certainly go for Delight out of this choice, only because I really do rate Delight a lot, and I know that his time at Bayern Munich is questionable. I mean, to say the least. But how much would it take to get Delight out of Bayern Munich? That's the biggest question, because Bayern Munich don't necessarily have to. They're a club that's unique in that they don't have to worry about the same rigors of the of FFP, in essence, you know, that other clubs in Premier League have to worry about. And also they haven't necessarily had to worry about they can keep these high value, high price players on their team. And that's crazy too, considering they just brought in Dyer and again, this is what I mean. They brought in Dyer as another option for their center back pairings in the back, and it makes you go, well, what are we doing? What are you doing with Upamecano? You know, how are you going to manage Kim? You got De Ligt now. You got, like, what is going to be the process in getting these guys minutes? And obviously they are all obviously honestly looking to get minutes. And yes, you know what? He would, because he is I think he plays for the English or he's making a bye to play for the English national team. So I believe that he would count as it as well. And again, right, Brian? Brighton have only, I know Brighton gets this thing as being like, as if they've had like a lot of high, triple digit $1 million sales, but the only one that they've really had a triple digit sale was obviously Caicedo. Other than that, they've had some good sales though. They definitely had some good high value 60, 70 million pound players be sold as well though, that probably at the time they bought them were not even remotely close to that price evaluation. I know, and that makes no sense, Brian. Can't get a game for Spurs, but gets a move to Bayern. Tuchel, I don't know why Tuchel pushed for him to get there, and I get it. Yes, I get it. Lit is on 350,000 a week wages, and not even a first teamer. And yeah, not even a first team starter at Bayern. I think that honestly, it would get to a place where, at least for him, it would get to a place to Lit where you're saying, well, what are you interested in doing with your career? Because you're not getting playing time. I get you're making 350,000. I know asking for, if we were to ask him to come to England and to come particularly to Liverpool, he would have to take a pay cut. We're not going to pay him 350,000. Well, that's euros, but we're not going to pay him 350,000 euros, or we're not going to pay him 300,000 pounds, or whatever the value of the conversion rate is. More likely, he would be 150,000, maybe 160 in our wage books. He'd be more like a 150, 160 £1,000. I just say that because I don't see De Ligt coming to Liverpool and certainly not saying to Van Dijk, hey, how's it going? I'm making more money than you. That's not happening. Considering that that Virgil's on 220,000, I don't think that's happening. You know what's sad is let me put him in there too. So another player is well put, and this is something that is heavily linked to us is, let me put these other players in here. Another player that's heavily linked to us making a move for is Levi. We're once again linked with Levi Colwill. I know that we have a need for players. And what I mean by need for players, we have a need for center backs, possibly. Even though we have found a player in we have found a player in Happy Kwanzaa. We still apparently are interested in getting that player, getting a player, and getting a center back. So I've said this too. Okay, I know that we're interested in getting Colwell. We're also been linked getting. We've been linked to Douglas Luiz. I'm going to ask the chat this question. This is going to be a concerted effort style question because I think Levi Colwell is maybe a 60. I know they're looking for 60 million. Don't know off the top of my head what the market value for Douglas Luiz is going to be. I know it's going to be high. Do I think it's 100 million? I don't know. If he's a 100 million pound player, is he an 80 million pound player? That's still pushing it for me. I don't know if I pay 80 million for Douglas Luiz. I'm certain that someone in the chat knows. Tell me if you guys can. How much is the evaluation for Douglas Luiz? I can pull up Transfer Market, but I guess I could just pull it up here. Let's see. But Doug Luiz is a player that we have been have had links to. And I rate Douglas Luiz. I think he's a good player. I think he definitely fits the mold of what we would be looking to do on Liverpool. Obviously, it's going to take a lot to sway him to, I should say, to Liverpool, because he is someone that is coveted by even Manchester City. Let's see, K-Mac is saying VVD, Konate, Kwanzaa, Colwill. I mean, my honest opinion is, as much as I was happy to see that we didn't go for Colwill, I personally was interested still in this deal. It can't be for 60 million. I don't want to do 60 million for Colwill. Would I do 50? That's a stretch still. I would offer 40 million. That might be too low. I get that for a lot of people's evaluations. Maybe that's too high for some people's evaluations. Obviously he's got some unique, talented or unique skill sets. He's also been prem tested, whether it's been with Brighton, and now he's being showcased with Chelsea. But he's not working out in Chelsea. He's playing out of position for Chelsea. I don't know if he's necessarily happy with Chelsea. I know they just signed a 6-year deal with Chelsea, so the likelihood of him moving on are not as high or not as likely as people would think or want to have. I have a 60 million market value evaluation, 60 million euro market value valuation for Douglas Luiz. Realism Jared saying Douglas Luiz will be 80 million plus 25. No way. If people are wanting 105 million for him, I get it. Villa needs him, utilizes him, and he's an important player for him. And I know that they're not going to allow, especially since Villa is making a top 4 run, arguably a title shot style run this year. I don't think that they want and would likely send him to Prayed Up sounds like a cheap version. That was a good one. This one's a good one. I don't think that he would be someone that Villa is going to allow to part on cheap terms or cheaper terms than his real evaluation. Would I pay 60 million for him? Yeah. Would I pay 70 million for Douglas Luiz? That's pushing it. Certainly pushing it. There's no way I'm paying 105 million for Douglas Luiz. Just not happening. Just not happening. If I'm in the boardroom, that's just not happening. And I know I'm sure I'll get pushed back for that, but yeah, that's just not happening. But I would like to see Levi Colwill in as another center back option. I think would be good. Would I pay 60 million? No. Would I pay 50 million? No. I think 40 million I think 40 million as the opening offer would be a talking point. Obviously, they're not going to accept it. And then that's where the negotiation starts. And when I go, I could see us coming in with a 40 million pound bid, and then doing similar tactics of what we did with Lavia, in that one, Chelsea needs to make room on their books. Obviously, if they were to sell Colwill, any money that they make off of Colwill is pure profit. So that helps the likelihood of them considering moving him on. It helps for him being homegrown, but I don't think Villa needs to sell, just like K-Max saying. And I also don't think that Villa will sell, to be honest with you. Levi Colwill, I don't think is a 60 million pound player personally. But is he a 40 million pound player? Yes. Is he a 45 million pound player? Yes. Is he a 50 million pound player? That's getting to the red line. For me, at least, that's getting to the red line for evaluations. The other quick evaluation, real quick, before, because we're at the hour mark. I'm just going to go a little bit over on extra time on this session. The other ones that I wanted to bring up is this. Now, these are my dream scenarios. These are not necessarily likely to happen, but again, there's been talk out there that possibly Vinicius Jr. could be making a move. I'm going to ask the chat this question: If both these players wanted to come to Liverpool, I know it's a hypothetical, but let's say, Mbappe's mom talks to him and says, "I want you to go there," and Kylian's like, "Yes, mama, I'll go there," and maybe Vinicius Jr. is like, "You know what? I'm fed up with this like disgusting shows of racism and bull crap. You know what? I'm out. I've done my piece here at Real Madrid. I'm going to go to England, and I'm going to choose a team in England to really press myself into." Arguably, Vinicius goes to Liverpool. I think Vinicius becomes an almost automatic Ballon d'Or finalist. I will say that again. Vinicius goes to Liverpool. He becomes an outright Ballon d'Or finalist. But Vinicius is apparently in some talks or in some rumors out there for him. My question to the chat is this. I know we've had about 15, or we had like 15, 20 people in here. My question is this: would you rather have Vinicius Jr. or Kylian Mbappe? I get it. Let's not say that. Let's just go beyond the price tags that have to go with the players. Obviously they're 100 to 50, whatever, blah blah blah, million players. Trust me. M. Tarmizi says wishful thinking. Get Kylian so he can drag Kang In Lee from Paris to Merseyside. Enough said, brother. Kang In Lee is my guy, dude. That I'm so high on Kang In Lee. Like, as I like that player a lot. I would love to see us be able to get actually Kubo and Kang In Lee. That would be great. Have basically, have Japan and Korea on both wings. Oh, that is dangerous. But I get it. Can we not have both? Yes, I'm good. Oh, with Vinicius, if we have Vinicius Jr., man, if we have Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe both say we want to go to Liverpool, do you realize the internet would break? The internet would just crack in half with the amount of enthusiasm from Reds. Could you imagine that? That would be incredible. But all right. So let's see. What do you guys and I get, you know what? Stop. Brian's trolling me right now. He's trolling me right now. Man, if we got Vinicius Jr., as much as I love Colombia, I will say I would be having a conversation with Lucho that you need to learn how to play the right wing, possibly. I don't think Diaz is beating out Vinicius Jr. for that left wing spot. Hey, who knows? Maybe it inspires Lucho to new levels, right? Who knows? But let me see. The JK is saying Mbappe, no question. Wow. Okay. No question. Let's see. Honestly, say Mbappe, no question too, as well. And 2 on Sunday, run me Mbappe. FSG don't spend $3 billion on the PGA Tour. Pay out Valverde. $1 billion release clause. That's not happening. And I smoke the Prem. I'll smoke the Prem. But it's a dream that I made happen. Oh, you made it happen in your EAFC. I got you. I bet. Oh, you crush if you had those players on your team for sure. K-Max saying Mbappe will be an LFC player in the summer. We are the only team who can sign him with no FFP issues. That'd be great, man. From your lips to God's ears, as they say. Everybody's on the Mbappe train. Mbappe for Realism Jared. It's like, yeah, I know, I get you. It's like Charles about to order a takeout. I wish that would definitely be for Liverpool, for my Liverpool takeout. That would for delivery to Anfield. My Anfield delivery would definitely be this for sure. Shoot, I mean, get me Junior, Mbappe, Kubo, dropping Kangan Lee. I'm good. I don't even know if John Henry's wallet would break. I think John Henry's wallet would be all of a sudden disappeared. It would disappear all of a sudden. It would be running away. Let's see. Realism Jared says Vinny and Mbappe can't play in the same team. They both want to play left wing. I get it. Maybe, considering the way we play with the way that it, you move from one position to another in the triangles, if that was the case, you might see something where, we have Mbappe play like central, even though I know he doesn't want to play central. Maybe we coerce him into playing central for us, but I don't know. Mbappe, because he could also play. Oh, okay. Well, K-Max on the same page as me. Gotcha. Mbappe, because he can also play center. That's what K-Mac is saying. And I is that really cool? Interesting trivia. Mtar Missy says Kubo and Lee are best mates when both play their trade in when they both played in Spain. I don't think Mtar Missy, I don't think people hear us when we're talking sometimes, because realistically, I really rate Kubo. And not only do I really rate Kubo, to the point where I'm highly interested in us doing making the release clause happen. And I think the release clause is about 60-some million for the release clause for Kubo. I don't believe there's a release clause, I could be wrong, for Kang-In Lee, especially since he just transferred to PSG. Most likely we'd have to wait till the summertime to get him as a transfer target for us, because he's already played for 2 teams in the calendar year. But I think Kang-In Lee is an incredibly talented player. I've been rating him for some time. You know that, Mtar Mizzy. I was disappointed to see that we fell out of the running, and I was disappointed. I think it was like more so him going to PSG is a good move for him in that, obviously for salary and for exposure. But I just think that if he wants to make the next move up, PSG is not on the level of a Liverpool, in my honest opinion, as talent measures. And Mbappe, 1% chance. He's a 1% chance of him ever being a Liverpool player. Realism Jared says, "Don't make people cry. Come on, Realism Jared. Don't take away people's dreams. Allow people to dream." Let's see. I think that's pretty much all I had on there. Yeah. So I'm about to. I know I got to get over to. GTV to do a segment with him. But before I do, as always, my Mighty Reds Army here always comes first. So therefore, I'm going to handle any questions you guys got for me before I bounce. Honesty asked me here, and I'm going to bring back the central on here. I'm going to return on these transfer possibilities again. What I'm going to ask is, if in the comments, put the player that you are most heavily interested in. Put the position on the field that he plays, and the position that you want to see is most needed for us. And please put the player that you have as being the solution for that position in the comments. at some time. You know, if you put a like, I appreciate that. But if you can put a comment as well, put it in the comments, and I'll make sure to include them in a real thorough evaluation in an upcoming episode. But Honesty says, what's your opinion on this 12th? Okocha, excuse me. JJ Okocha said, Mohamed Salah wants to achieve success with his national team, and that puts him and the whole team under pressure. I agree with that completely. Look, there's so much pressure on Salah, naturally being one of the talismans for his country, being arguably, not even arguably, being undoubtedly the biggest name and profile of Egyptian player, not only from his country now, but possibly ever. I get that there are players that have come before him that obviously have historic levels in Egyptian lore when it comes to their national team. But with Salah, there is so much pressure because, one, there's divided, interest or divided attention when it goes to his ability to say, his ability to say that he is the face of, Muslims in the world. He's the face of obviously North Africa. I personally don't say when it refers to Egypt, I don't say that he has a presence in the Arab world, but I don't put Egypt in the Arab world. I know I'm probably gonna get pushback from that. I am not Egyptian, so that is one that I'm not going to say that at all. But I know, but personally, it's Africa. It's North Africa to me. Egyptian, it's North Africa. It's just that. So that means Africa to me. That's just my opinion. I'll get pushback. I understand. I'll get pushback by saying that. That might be even controversial, but for me, he's an African player. Okay. And he should be proud to be an African player, I believe, and represent Africa. Okay. But when it comes to Mohamed Salah, there's a lot that rides on his shoulders, and there's so many different depictions of how great this man is. But he's like, anything he does, when he has a Christmas, some Muslims still celebrate or have like a Christmas tree in their house, and that's controversial, or because there's some Muslims that don't want to be even remotely, don't even want to be around alcohol celebrations that include alcohol. Some do, but don't partake in alcohol. It's like, that's divisive. There's so many different places and things that that end up separating this guy into it. And so it's an obsession, but it's also something that, is noteworthy, certainly. Let's see. Lee scored a screamer for Korea. He did. And this is another guy that I was really looking to do a piece on right here. This is a guy that me and M. Tarmizi, I was asking for like little tidbits on him. So yeah, I really, really like this player a lot. Nakamura is a player, but he's another player that has just recently made a move. Excuse me. Nakamura is another player that's recently made a move. A player that Liverpool was interested in trying to target. 1 second. So yeah, he's just a player that I really wanted to see make a move to Liverpool. Unfortunately, he did not. Realism Jarrett says, not Mohamed Salah, but Mohamed Boutrika is regarded as Egypt's greatest ever player, but today he's in exile and considered an enemy of the state by his own country. Hence, he isn't mentioned anymore. Wow, that's pretty crazy, Realism Jarrett. It's a shame. I don't know too much back history on that. I'll have to research that, and I will. Let's see. Certainly too. Yeah, JJ is a very, very talented player. And this right here. Yeah. Nakamura impressed me. This is M. Tarmizi saying this. Nakamura impressed him the most, a bit like Cujo and Gravenberch, never afraid to take on players. Yes. Yes, for certain. Nakamura, I like the mindset of a lot of the Japanese players, and I like the mindset of the Korean players as well. That's why I like Kangin Lee. But I really like Japanese players. The mindset that they have with their, obviously with their with their dedication towards their nutrition, towards their towards the stamina, the health, everything like those kinds of their fitness. Very, very important. Very, very important. I'm gonna have to bounce, guys, but it's been a pleasure to be in this episode with you guys as always. Please, like I said, I would like for you guys to, if you can, leave a like. I really appreciate it. Please share this with people. Please share this with people. This channel with people. Tell them to share it, even if they don't like football. Maybe this can enhance their them liking football, and if anything, liking the best club in the world, Liverpool. I'll answer this one other quick question for Realism Jared. He asks, why are you contemplating bailing CFC out of FFP by buying Colwill? I think that the reason why I would be interested in quote unquote bailing CFC out with FFP is only because by doing so, we might be able to get a deal. We might be able to say, we get your evaluation, but this is the evaluation we've come up with, and take it or leave it. You're the ones that have the need. We can look elsewhere. That's why I'm interested in making the deal for Colwill. But again, let's do this again. I'm going to be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time, or some in the 7 p.m. hour, I should say, UK time. I want to definitely, hopefully, I'll have some suggestions of players that you want me to look into. Again, the preface, what I was asking for is if you guys can tell me the position that you think is the most dire on this club that we have to address, and also tell me which player you see as the solution for that problem or for that position. And if you want to give context, awesome. If you don't, I'll make the context for you. Okay. I'm certain I will. But look, guys, if you can go and give a shout to GTV. His broadcast is going live, and you'll see me on there too. Hopefully, I can get on there and make a presence by going. I'm not going to go ham on anybody, but I'm representing. I'm representing. I'm representing this right here. So, so big up to each and every one of you, each and every time, for sure. Okay. Jaden. All right. Done and done, brother. Jaden Philogene. I will look him up, brother. I will look him up. Big up to everyone in the chat. I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. hour. I said it should be another fun episode. Hopefully you will be here for it. And hopefully we'll have new friends involved in being here with us. So, until then, I would say